Hong Kong at night feels like a song that never ends. Neon signs blink like tired eyes. Music leaks out of clubs and bars. Taxis slide through the streets like fish in dark water. And in shop windows, on keychains, on little purses and sticker packs, Hello Kitty smiles back at everyone. Soft, cute, harmless. It is the kind of face you buy when the world feels too loud and you want something simple to hold. That is why people do not notice the warning signs at first, not in a city that moves this fast. Tan Man Yi is 23. She works nights as a nightclub hostess, trying to keep her life together in the glow of the nightlife. Some people look at a woman like Fan and think they already know her story. But they do not. She is more than rumors. She is a person with bills, pressure, and a future she is still trying to protect. In the daytime, the city is sharp and normal. Offices, schools, markets, people acting like nothing bad can touch them. But at night, Hong Kong becomes a different place, one where secrets travel faster than the trains. Fan is used to men who talk big, men who laugh too loud, men who act like rules do not apply to them. In her world, there are always connected people, people who know people, and sometimes the biggest danger is not a weapon. It is a debt. At first, it sounds small, almost embarrassing, something you can fix with a few good nights of work and a little luck. But the word debt in the wrong mouth does not mean money anymore. It means control. It means humiliation. It means you belong to me until I decide you do not. Fan owes money to dangerous men tied to the nightlife's criminal undercurrent, and the number follows her like a shadow. People talk about it the way they talk about storms, like it is someone else's problem until it hits their street. Some nights, Fan tries to pretend she can outwork it, smile through it, keep her head down. But pressure has a way of changing the air around you. It makes every phone call feel heavier, every knock on a door feel louder, every familiar face in a crowd feel suspicious. And then, one night, Fan disappears. No dramatic goodbye, no warning to the world, just gone. In a city this crowded, you would think it would be impossible to vanish, but that's the twist. In Hong Kong, you can be surrounded by millions and still be completely alone. At first, the street reacts the way it always does. Half concern, half gossip. People whisper different versions of the same story because the truth is not safe to say out loud. Some say she ran, some say she is hiding, some say she crossed the wrong people. But the ones who know how the city works do not ask where she went. They ask who took her. Because men like this do not just want their money back. They want an example, a message, a warning to anyone who thinks a debt can be ignored. Fan's name starts moving from mouth to mouth, then from mouth to silence. Not because people forget her, but because people get scared of what her name might pull toward them. And in the background, the city keeps blinking. Hello Kitty keeps smiling. The streets keep selling comfort in bright plastic colors. It is almost insulting how normal everything looks, like the city itself is pretending nothing happened. But something did happen. Somewhere behind all that neon, a line has been crossed. And the only clue anyone can agree on is the number that hangs in the air like a curse, small enough to sound fake, big enough to ruin a life. HK 20,000. In Hong Kong, a debt is not always about money. Sometimes it's about pride. After Fan disappears, the city starts doing what it always does, talking in half sentences. People do not say names loudly. They do not point. They do not ask too many questions. But behind closed doors, the same story keeps repeating. Fan owed money, not a lot, but enough. And it was not owed to the kind of people who send polite reminders. The men tied to the nightlife underworld do not see a debt like a simple problem. They see it like a stain, like disrespect, like someone laughing at them without saying a word. Fan's mistake is not just owing money. It is that her debt makes them feel small. So they decide to make her feel smaller. It starts with quiet pressure, the kind that looks normal from far away. A message passed through a friend, a warning at the edge of a club, a voice that smiles while it threatens. Then it turns personal. One of the men, someone with a reputation, starts getting closer, not with violence at first, but with control. He acts friendly, like he is offering a way out, like he is being reasonable. He speaks to Fan the way a predator speaks to someone trapped in a corner, calm, slow, confident. He tells her, pay it back and it ends. But his eyes say something else. It ends when I say it ends. Fan tries to negotiate. She tries to buy time. She tries to keep her dignity. But every time she speaks, it gets worse. Because to these men, her words do not sound like a person speaking. They sound like a debtor arguing. They do not want a plan. They want obedience. And they do not just want the money. They want a moment where Fan breaks, and they get to watch it. That is why this part feels like a soap opera, because the danger does not arrive wearing a mask. It arrives like charm, like a deal, like a kiss, a debt collector's kiss. Not love, not kindness. A fake softness meant to pull her closer before the trap closes. Fan is pulled into their orbit, and suddenly her life has invisible rules. Do not go home alone. Do not trust friendly faces. Do not believe promises. Do not think tomorrow is guaranteed. She starts living like someone who knows she is being watched. Because she is. The city keeps moving, but Fan's world shrinks. Her choices get smaller. Her exits disappear one by one. And the men around her get bolder. Because once people learn they can scare you, they rarely stop. Then comes the night where the line is crossed. Fan thinks she is walking into another warning, another demand. But the people waiting for her are not there to talk. They are there to collect more than money. And after that, Fan stops answering calls. She stops showing up. She stops existing in the way the city recognizes. That is when the street turns cold. Because in Hong Kong, people understand something simple. If you cannot find someone, it does not always mean they ran. Sometimes it means they are being kept. Whispers spread through clubs and stairwells. A friend of a friend says they heard something. Someone else says they saw the men, laughing like nothing happened. And the scariest part? No one agrees on the details. But everyone agrees on the feeling. Fan is not missing. Fan is trapped. And when someone asks where, the answer comes out like a curse. Simshatsui. Simshatsui is loud, bright, and busy. If you want to hide something, it is the perfect place, because everyone is already looking at something else. On Granville Road, there is an ordinary walk-up building, shops below, small homes above. People go in and out every day, carrying groceries, smoking on the stairs, stepping over old flyers like they are nothing. No one would guess a secret could live there. But inside one flat, the mood is wrong. The room is cramped, the air feels heavy, and the strangest part is what fills the space. Cute things, little toys, bright colors, smiling faces. Hello Kitty everywhere, like someone tried to cover the truth with softness. That is why this topic matters, because evil does not always look evil. Sometimes it borrows a cute mask. Sometimes it hides behind things that make you feel safe. People in the building keep living their normal lives. They hear the city, they hear footsteps, they hear doors closing. But in places like this, you learn not to listen too closely. You learn to mind your own business. And then one night, someone sees a girl. Not a grown woman. Not someone who belongs in that world. A young teen moving fast, keeping her head down. She pauses near the entrance, like she is scared someone is watching. She looks up the stairs, like the stairs are judging her. Her hand is shaking when she reaches for the door. She goes inside anyway, and the door shuts behind her. If she is just a visitor, why does she look like someone walking into a trap? The most dangerous secret in this story is not hidden in a safe. It is hidden inside a teenage girl. Her street name is Ah Fong. Some reports describe her as about 13 or 14. She is young enough that she should still be worrying about school and small problems. Instead, she is spending time with older men who live by fear and power. She is close to them, too close. One of the men is her boyfriend. That makes her feel protected, like she belongs somewhere. But it also makes her trapped because boyfriend in this world can mean owner. Ah Fong learns the rules fast. Do not ask questions. Do not show shock. Do not look too long. Do not act like you care. Because caring is dangerous. At first, she tries to tell herself it is not her business. She tries to pretend she's only there for the man she likes, not for the darkness around him. But the apartment has a strange feeling, like the walls are listening. And Ah Fong keeps seeing signs that something is very wrong. The worst part is how normal the men can look when they want to. They can laugh, joke, smoke, talk about nothing. Then, without warning, their mood changes. Their voices turn cold. And Ah Fong understands that the real danger is not only what they do. It is how easily they switch. She starts living in two worlds at the same time. In one world, she's safe because she's with them. In the other world, she is terrified because she is with them. And then comes the moment that makes her different from everyone else in Hong Kong. She knows, not rumors, not gossip, not I heard something. She has seen enough to understand that Fan's disappearance is not a mystery. It is a prison with a locked door, and the men are the guards. Ah Fong wants to run. But where does a scared teen run in a city like this, when the people you're running from already know your face, your name, and your fear? So she stays, and every day she stays, the secret gets heavier. Because now Ah Fong is not just a witness, she is a living piece of the story. And she can feel the men watching her, checking her, reading her like a lie detector. They do not need her to be loyal. They only need her to be quiet. At night, when she's alone with her thoughts, the fear turns into something worse. Guilt. And guilt does not stay silent forever. Ah Fong stares at the door, heart racing, and whispers the truth to herself. If I tell, they'll come for me. Ah Fong tries to stay quiet. After everything she has seen, she tells herself the safest thing is to forget, to act normal, to keep smiling, to pretend she was never part of it. But guilt is not a secret you can lock in a room. At night, she starts waking up shaking. The same nightmare comes again and again, a woman's presence, angry and sad, standing too close. Later, Ah Fong says it felt like Fan's ghost was following her, like the dead were demanding to be noticed. Soon she cannot sleep. She cannot think straight. She jumps at small sounds. Her body is in one place, but her mind is still trapped in that apartment. The fear becomes so heavy that she starts falling apart in public, not just in private. She ends up at a girls' reform school, but the change of place does not help, because the ghost is not in the building. It is in her head. One day she breaks. A social worker notices something is wrong. Ah Fong looks like a child carrying an adult nightmare. When she finally speaks, she does not say, "I'm guilty." She says something easier to say. "I'm being haunted." It sounds unbelievable, like superstition, like an excuse. But the way she says it is not dramatic. It is desperate. She is not trying to entertain anyone. She is trying to survive. The social worker takes her to a police station. The officers listen, even if they do not fully believe the ghost part, because terrified kids do not usually invent details that specific. Ah Fong keeps checking the door and the windows while she talks, like she expects someone to appear and drag her away. She wants protection, but she also wants distance from what she's about to say. Then she gives them the one thing she cannot take back: a location. Police decide to follow her, not because they are chasing a ghost, because sometimes a ghost story is just a scared person's way of pointing to something real. They arrive in Simshatsui, a normal building, normal stairs, normal life all around it. Ah Fong walks slower now. Each step feels like it is pulling her back into the worst part of her life. She stops in front of a door. Her hand lifts, but she does not knock. She only points, eyes wide, voice small, and says, "It's in there." Ah Fong leads the police to a building in Chimshatsui, and suddenly her ghost story becomes something real. The hallway looks normal. The door looks normal. That is what makes it worse, because it means horror can hide in plain sight, right next to everyday life. Inside the flat, the first shock is not a weapon or a threat. It is the childlike clutter, cute toys, bright colors, and Hello Kitty everywhere. The room feels like it is pretending to be innocent, like someone tried to cover darkness with a smile. Then the search turns serious. Officers find a plastic bag with human remains, and the detail that brands itself into the case forever is this. Fan's skull was found sewn inside a Hello Kitty mermaid plush doll. A comfort icon turned into a hiding place. A cute face turned into a secret. In that moment, the case changes shape. This is not just a missing woman anymore. It is proof she did not simply vanish. She was kept, and what happened to her was not quick. It was hidden long enough that the city kept blinking, kept shopping, kept laughing, while the truth sat behind one locked door. One officer looks at the toys and the bag and understands the real twist. This crime did not need darkness to hide. It used normal life as camouflage. After the police enter that flat, the case stops being a rumor. It becomes a hunt. Now there are names in the air, real names, dangerous names, the kind people in the nightlife try not to say too loudly. Police focus on 3 men tied to Fan's disappearance, Chan Man Lok, Leng Wailun, and Leng Xingqiu. And behind them is a 4th shadow in the story, the teen, Ah Feng, who knows more than she can safely carry. When the police start closing in, the men do not act like a team. They act like strangers who suddenly remember they can betray each other. One tries to look calm, like this is all a misunderstanding. One turns angry, like the police are the real problem. And one starts thinking about escape, because running is easier than explaining. They all understand the same truth. The evidence is bad. So they do what guilty people often do. They do not tell one clean lie. They tell many messy lies. That is why investigators call it 3 men, 4 stories. Because every time the police ask a simple question, where were you? When did you last see her? Who else was there? The answers change. A detail moves. A timeline bends. One man says he was not there. Another man says he was there but not involved. Another acts like Fan was never even in the room. And each time they speak, they are not only talking to the police. They are talking to each other. They are testing each other. Who will break first? Who will blame who? Who will drag the others down to save himself? Outside, a new rumor spreads, one that makes the whole story feel even darker. Meth and paranoia. People start whispering that drugs did not just sit in the background. They made the men bolder, colder, less human. Then the story tightens, because the men are not the only ones who can be pressured. Ah Fong is still just a teenager. She is not built for police rooms and hard questions, but she holds the one thing the men cannot control anymore. The truth that connects them to that flat. Police realize something scary. The suspects do not need to win in court yet. They only need to confuse the story enough that nobody can tell what is real, and they are trying. In the middle of all the denying and blaming, one of the men slips, just for a second. He says a small detail he should not know. The room goes quiet, because now the police are not listening to a story anymore. They are listening to a mistake. When the case reaches court, the city expects one simple thing, a clear story and a clear label. But the courtroom does not run on feelings. It runs on proof. The trial becomes a public shock in Hong Kong. People follow every update, and the city cannot believe something this dark could happen in a place so crowded and so normal. Then the biggest problem shows up. There is not enough evidence to explain everything. Only limited remains were recovered, and because of that, experts cannot say for sure the exact cause of death. They also cannot fix every detail into one clean timeline. This becomes the defense's strongest weapon. They do not need to prove the men are innocent. They only need to build doubt. They push a cold argument. What if she did not die the way everyone thinks? They suggest the death could have been caused by something else, like a drug overdose, and the damaged evidence makes it hard to close that door completely. Meanwhile, the prosecution fights back with a different message. Even if the exact final moment cannot be proven, the chain of confinement and abuse is strong enough to show she died because of what was done to her. So the trial turns into a battle of two ugly realities: what the public believes happened and what the evidence can fully prove. And in that gap, the word everyone wants to hear, murder, starts to feel harder to lock in place. The courtroom holds its breath as the decision gets closer, because now the fear is not that the truth will not be heard. It is that the truth will not be provable. When the verdict day comes, Hong Kong is not calm. People are shocked that something this awful could happen in such a crowded, safe city. The case has already taken over public life. People talk about it everywhere, like it's a nightmare the city cannot wake up from. Inside court, the problem is still the same. The evidence cannot answer every question. The jury cannot be fully sure how Fan died. So the courtroom turns into a fight between what feels obvious and what can be proven. Then the twist hits the public like a slap. The three men are found guilty of manslaughter, not murder. It is not because the court thinks the crime was small. It is because the legal label depends on what the evidence can prove beyond doubt. Outside, many people hear only one thing: not murder. To them, it feels like the worst word is missing, like the law is speaking in a softer voice than the city's anger. But the sentence is not soft. The court gives life sentences, making it clear this cruelty is beyond anything the city should tolerate. And then comes another twist, quiet but explosive. Ah Fong, the teen witness, is not punished like the others. She testified against them in exchange for immunity. She becomes the most controversial person in the story, the one who helped reveal the truth, and also the one many people want to blame because she survived. So the city ends this chapter with two emotions at war: relief that the men are locked away, and anger that the word murder never lands the way the public wanted it to. The verdict is life, but the feeling in the streets is not closure. It is a question that will not die. If the court will not call it murder, then what do we call this? After the life sentences, people expect the story to end, but this case does not end cleanly because it does not leave Hong Kong's mind. The courts keep dealing with it. In later appeals, a life sentence is upheld for two of the men, with judges stressing they remain a danger to society. Then another twist follows. The third man's life sentence is reduced to 18 years. For the public, it feels confusing, like the law is still trying to measure something that cannot be measured. Meanwhile, the city argues about the teen witness. Some people see her as the reason the truth came out. Others cannot forgive that she was there and lived. She becomes part of the case's discomfort. Not a simple hero, not a simple villain, just a young person caught in something far bigger than her. Over time, the case changes again into culture. The Hello Kitty mermaid plush becomes more than evidence. It becomes a symbol people use when they talk about hidden evil. How something cute can sit beside something terrible, and how a city can keep smiling while a nightmare is locked behind a door. That is the final point. The icon was never the monster. The monster was human behavior, how a person can be reduced to a debt, how cruelty grows when people act as a group, and how silence from everyone around them gives evil room to breathe. The ghost was not magic. It was guilt and fear finally forcing a door open, because the truth does not always knock politely.